for another one. Yeah. Underground World News Live. Here this May 15th, 2024. Got a mic check 1, 2. And good evening to everybody out there. Yes, the Most High is returning soon, that is for sure. And thank you for the feedback there, J Bear, Gara, Hoodie Ross, Judge Britt, Spawn Shank, Dangus in the house, man. Good to see you, brother. Meat Puppet. How is everybody doing this evening? Good to see you, Lowrider. How you doing, brother? Johnny Knight, E. Fitz, everybody out there, man. Thanks for the feedback there. Good to see everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. All you can do is keep your eyes on the prize and keep moving forward. And we're back here on Wednesday, trying to keep this whole thing going. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Plenty of stuff popping off. Yes, and good evening. Much love to all you guys, all the pure bloods out there. Yes, and much love. Plenty to cover here. Yeah, it's one of them days. I don't know if it's just me. It might be. It's the way that I am, and I'm geared. Like I can just be doing something, and something like, well, like tap me on the shoulder and be like, go do this, or I'll go check something, and I relate it to like when I go check the phone all the time, and it's 111 or 222 or 1111, all that stuff. But I don't know. I get these. I can feel the energy in the air, so to speak. It's the best way to put it. And it seems like when that happens, like there's a lot that starts to pick up and go on. I can't explain it. It's weird, but I've noticed it throughout the years. It only gets stronger, it seems. Yes, good evening. Got plenty to go over. I'm going to kick this off here with a story here about a man traveling down the Colorado River here on a wooden raft. He's found dead. It's a weird story. They say he's going down the river on a wooden raft with a dog in the Grand Canyon National Park. They go on to say here, the body of a man who's been traveling down the Colorado River on a wooden raft has been found in the Grand Canyon. Thomas Robinson, a 58-year-old man from Santa Fe, New Mexico, was believed to have attempted to travel down the Colorado River on a wooden raft with his dog before abandoning the vessel at Lee's Ferry, just a few miles south of the Arizona border with Utah. So he abandoned the vessel. They know this. It doesn't account for how he drowned then. They were notified of a body in the river, mile 6, on Friday. Park rangers responded and recovered the body, which was transported to Lee's Ferry and transferred to the medical examiner's office. They did not give much of any other information on this. The circumstances around how he may have died is currently unknown, and the investigation into his death is ongoing. Additionally, authorities did not disclose the whereabouts of the dog or whether or not it even survived or anything like that. So it's kind of a story missing a lot of puzzle pieces, so to speak, thus far. But a rest in peace to that guy, whatever he was doing on that mission. I know that river that cuts through all them canyons, a lot of them riverways, they're very arid. They're very arid, and it's not like you think when look at that landscape. Look how arid that is. The Grand Canyon, dry, no grass, no trees. Yeah, there's water flowing down there, but it's very stagnant. I noticed that. I went down, I think it was Green River, the Four Corners region, same thing. All arid, desert-like. And the water, even though it was flowing and moving, it was real stagnant. All these bugs everywhere. I'm an outdoor type cat. That was just, you're not going to survive in that type of atmosphere. You wonder why no one lives out in these regions, even off grid or anything like that. Getting no rain and anyhow, crazy story there. Wanted to start off with that. And yes, R.I.P. brother Mike Morales, kart racer, and all the others that we've lost along the way. Just thinking about that the other day, man. Just never promised tomorrow. Get in here to a couple update and some updates to some stories. Kind of, I figured I'd put these together here and talk about these here. If you didn't hear, breaking this evening at a video shoot in Atlanta, the rapper Lil Baby. Don't confuse him with Da Baby or any other of them out there, baby in their name. But I'm not too keen on this rapper to even end up on all the rappers in the rap game. I may make some hip hop music, but I just ride the beat to spit my lyrics of truth. I don't keep up with this whole rap game and all the characters too much. Although this dude, I don't trust him. He seems like an industry cat. When I look into him, you're either a cat that is going against the grain, like almost immediately in there, and then the industry ends up not liking you and regretting that they signed you. Those end up being the more legitimate people because they're willing to expose the industry for what it is. But then they'll come and they'll kill you, just like they did Tupac. Or many others that were speaking truth. But the baby, gunshots ripping out at this video shoot. I'm not going to play the clips because it's TMZ and I'm over here, I'm on YouTube. And if a sure algorithm suck that up and give me a strike. But if you go looking on TMZ's site, you can hear some really quick automatic fire, like really quick zips. And this dude right here took off running. In the frame, you can see a gun pointing down. What they're saying happened was that the people that were trying to get to him, you see a screenshot there of this dude, a group of men were apparently pretending to film a music video or content of their own nearby. And then the next thing you know, they start firing off shots. It's probably it's all faked and staged just so they can get close enough to shoot some shots at them. And then they sped off in a white car. So even the guys that are on camera talking about this, filming it, say, dang, those guys were smooth. They played that off smooth. They were acting like they were filming their own stuff. They were there for a while doing it. And made the other people, like, drop their guard. And they come ripping through with bullets. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's a wild game out here. And some of these beefs, some of these shootings are real. Because someone like Lil Baby here could be going down into this town. I don't know for sure here, but he could be going into a town where he ain't checked in, or he ain't got a pass to do what he's doing. He ain't checked in with the cats from the streets. And if they ain't give him the go or approve it, this is the type of stuff that happens right here all the time. If you ain't checking in, man, they'll put something on your head. They'll green light you to get hit, unfortunately. And some areas more tolerant than others, but Atlanta's a big city. It's got a lot of gang activity itself. I would think Lil Baby knows this, but then again, I look at this Lil Baby character like he's a fake. A lot of these rappers out there, some of them could be gang affiliated for sure. Others are not, and they put on this image. And I don't know. We'll see as I get more information on this. This looks to have been a real deal, like warning shot situation, though, where they set the whole thing up and tried to go in and take somebody out. while I'm on the rap game stuff again, which I don't keep up with all too much. Yeah, I've heard Drake on the radio. I've never really cared for him. Um, Never really heard Kendrick Lamar. Just when I was listening to rap music back when I was younger, that was in the days of Tupac. I was 16 when Tupac got killed. I felt like he's talking to us when Shorty want to be a Doug 16, like speaking directly to us. Um, Now that I'm older, you know, I'm looking for someone that's got a message. You feel me? A message. That's what I try to do with the music these days. We try to utilize it to the fullest. Just look at the music we put out, you know. Some of the last ones, like, you know, when the grid goes down, for instance. Trying to put out stuff like that to get people's attention to the real stuff going on. Just use a different avenue to awaken people. That's what I do it for. Now, I don't rap about booty hopping and in the club and all that now. I may put down some hard stuff though, like we're coming to find you, we're coming to hunt your ass down, because that's what comes out of me. And if it inspires someone else out there to ride against the beast, so be it. Hopefully, like Pac said, I spark the one to rise against this beast, to cut its jugular. Someone's got to rise. And there's beefs out there in this world, not just in the rap game and all that, but Tupac and Biggie. Tupac woke me up. Tupac woke me up because he put his album as the Don Illuminati, and that meant to kill this Illuminati. And he was the Don at revealing it, and he did so with me. He sparked me right there. Like, what's this? What's the Illuminati? Oh, you want to kill this Illuminati? Let me see who these guys are. And then it's never ended. It's never ended. But that beef that they try to put out there, this beef between Tupac and Biggie, it isn't even what it seems. It's an all fabricated lie. I've studied it for 20 years. Over 20 years. I'm convinced that my guys were assassinated by the hand that takes them all out. And it really was no West Coast, East Coast beef. It was because the information that I know most people are not privy to is like the things that were happening right before Pac died. With trying to leave death row and all this other stuff. And I really do believe that Suge, who was paid by the Baphomet, played a huge part in setting up the assassination of Tupac Shakur. That's why it says Suge shot me at the beginning of the Machiavelli album. Somebody slid it in there to let you know. P. Diddy, who's getting his card pulled right now, and it's still not over, for running these Epstein type of orgies. Well, Suge Knight did it too. And you wonder why how does Suge Knight have a podcast from prison? How's it? And other guys, you can't see the light of day. How is that? Talk about propaganda, and as long as he's saying what they want him to say, they're allowing it. Do you understand that? Because if he was saying anything different, they would stop it. There's calls from prison, podcasts that's going on with Suge. He's dropping all these things. A lot of it are half truths. This is a man that also went on camera and said Tupac was still alive, and all this other crap. And he came out and said, "Oh no, he's not." That they tried to kill not only Pac but Suge too, and that he knows the people that did it. See, Suge's never named the names, but he's thrown a handful under the bus. Jimmy Iovine, which was the top dudes at Def Jam, the biggest record labels out back 20 years ago, outside of Death Row. Interscope, the biggest, the ones that had Death Row under the wing. They wanted Tupac gone. And also they made a bunch of money off a man that died off for releasing a ton of music. He didn't get it. That's for sure. I've seen them do other people the same way in this game. But that was not a beef between Biggie and Tupac. Biggie and Tupac actually found a way to circumvent the game. And it's all about distribution. Understand? It's all about distribution. And see, Tupac's dad, he admitted that when he talked to Pac right before it all went down, one of the last times, he was telling him that him and Big had figured out a way to outsmart the man in the game. And it's all about distribution. Back then it was CDs. Y'all know it. CDs everywhere. It's all about a CD. Going to the store, getting a fresh CD, popping in the CD player. That's what it was about. And they found a way to cut out the big dogs and all this. But nope, it was too late, man. They set Tupac up and said that because of some probation thing, he had to go to Club 662 and do this concert that night. And that's when he got killed, assassinated on his way there. The feds are trailing him. The feds were behind him. The feds were filming this. So just imagine some of these assassinations and murders of big name individuals and people in history are on film. It's on film. You will never see it. This is like JFK files. Like this stuff you'll never see in your lifetime ever released. But they were there. They know it. Even Pac's dad, again, admitted and said, how did they not know? They were trailing him. They were following. He's like, they were following my son. They were following him that night. Where were they at? Where's all the video footage? And these are huge, huge questions. It was all, you know what it was. So that was a shame. It brings me to this Kendrick Lamar Drake thing for anyone asking out there. I don't know from a distance. My feel on it, maybe it's better I don't listen to the music, is that it's staged. In a way. Because these guys have got more attention off of this and sold more records. Look at what this says. Kendrick Lamar shatters streaming records. He only did it through this beef, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I know the game is a wicked game. You only get promoted if they're promoting you and allowing you to do these things. Stay in the game. Keep dropping albums. I don't trust none of them. They're all evil to me. I don't know much about Kendrick Lamar, like I said before. I don't trust him. I just think that this is part of entertainment. It seems to me out here, and just to get more record sales, man, more streams these days. Used to be record sales. Now it's off the streams. You know, it's crazy if you go over to Spotify. Try it here. Go to Spotify. You try to look up any music. It doesn't tell you like how many views, likes, anything. I'll go here. I'll go Dabu7. Right here. Only a couple have got numbers next to them. Any numbers. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't tell me what those numbers stand for above it. Is it views, plays? How come they've got that and like others got like none? When I know I've hit play on all of them, they should all have plays. So I've seen before that they keep that secret, the algorithm and what they do. But just so you guys know, if you just type in Dabu7 over on Spotify or anything like that, you'll find all my music right here. Boom, 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 boom. A lot more than I bet you even knew I had. When I release it through TuneCore, it kicks it out to all these places. You can find it on, it's not on my channel, but it's on this YouTube music channel. It's on iTunes and all the big radio places out there. Just Dabu7, you'll find me, all my latest music. All right. So, let's get this cracking with updates on the sun. The sun has been letting off a ton of X flares. And this past week, many of you probably got treated to the auroras out there in the sky. Lighting up the sky, all 50 states could see the auroras. This happened because there was like 6 consecutive X flares that came off the sun. What's crazy is the strongest and biggest of them all just went off. The strongest of the entire solar cycle came from the same exact sunspot, 3664, but it's going around the western limb where it's going out of our view. It's rotating around the other way. It was an X 8.7. This caused an R3 level radio blackout directly over North America. You can see North America in the red there. So it went to R3. What's called the Parker spiral connects to Earth, the magnetic connection to Earth from the sun off this limb. That means that some of these the filaments, some of the energy can still come toward Earth, be pulled back toward us. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming days with this. But an 8.7, that's a big one. And then it was followed by another one. Let's go over here and look. We got a new sunspot that's turning toward us. And it has emitted a dramatic X3 explosion. So just as 664 goes out of view and around, I'm going to say this is probably going to be 3681. Because it looks like the last one's 3680. When it comes around here, any moment they're probably going to number that 3681. It's got the delta, beta, gamma energy field that can give off large X flares. So, go to... All right, let's count them. Let's see how many solar flares hit X level here just in the past day or so. The 14th, here's May 14th, yesterday. We got an X 1.72. And then we get an X 1.25. Then we get the X 8.7, so almost an X9. Right there with that big one, that's 3. And then we get an X 3.4. There's 4. And we got another one, 5. About an X3. This is 5 flares in one day. And the biggest yet. We're in a period right now, literally, going into the upper echelon of this solar cycle. Like, we're in that peak for sure. When you see this many, I was looking at some old videos I had from a decade ago exactly. It was 2014. And I noticed that I was reporting on all kinds of X flares. I'm like, interesting. Exactly a decade ago, huh? And all these videos talking about X flares popping off. And I'm like, Yeah, these things happen in cycles, obviously. That's why I just call it, the solar cycle that it is, 25. A lot of them going off. Just saying, we got another one turning toward us. And it could pop off flares. These days, X flare percentages, the chances, are 40%. Like on average. Used to only be like, be lucky to see 10%. Yeah. It's up there. keep our eyes on it. As I always say, eyes to the skies. Yeah, if you guys got any news, any images, anything like that you want me to share, let me know. Dabu7 at yahoo.com. Tag me on Twitter. And the real Jay from the Ville's finally here. Much love, my brother. Getting into some Quake updates here. I want to point out, although we haven't seen like significant Quake activity outside of the 6.4 that hit here, southern area down here, Mexico, but we've got some odds swarming around the Caribbean. Decent sized earthquakes. 5.6. So that's, you cross 5, that's, you can start generating tsunami waves, much less smoky. Remember, it was the big quake that hit Haiti that generated massive tsunami waves. And not too long ago, a few years ago, we had the ones around Jamaica. So, every now and then we can see these big quake events come from around this region. And of course, it's going to affect all the islands around it immediately. But in terms of the U.S., southern Florida will be the area to watch. The East Coast, Alaska, still really quiet. I hear a helicopter outside going over my house. It's pretty bad when I can hear it that loud. In here, the window's barely cracked. Sear dentistry means they're going right over. Still hear them. Sometimes they sit out there and they'll do circles around the mountains. It's like, what the? I've done showed you guys that time and time again. It's like, but yeah, that's a look at the quake maps. Remember, New Madrid, overdue. When that thing starts rumbling, pay attention. Now we've got a situation going on. Thousands being told to evacuate after we've got a massive fire in British Columbia. And it's burning out of control. Now, the last time something like this broke loose up there, there ended up being massive flooding. Okay? And with the flooding, it did something. Because I report on this stuff all the time, I remember, we'll take a look here. We're just going to take a look at the markets here. Lumber prices. This is where a ton of lumber comes from around the world, all North America and all this other stuff, from this region. Now you got wildfires burning it up. So when the floods hit, you guys remember back a couple years ago when houses exploded, when the price of houses exploded, should I say, went through the roof. This was a couple years ago. They really hit record highs. They're still elevated now, but Kathy, much love and prayers for everyone, and God bless. Thank you for those 3 coffees. Hope all is well, Kathy. Oh boy, Fire to Flame, Crown Jewels music in the house. Dropping some new music coming up. Fire to Flame, that's Crown Jewels Music Group. One of my mods here next Friday. But thousands told to evacuate because of this fire. And the first thing that jumps into my mind is like, okay, I remember when prices of houses exploded. What drove that? What drove it? Massive flooding and a ton of disaster in this neck of the woods up here in BC. It was so bad it sent the price of wood like, let's see here, what was it? It was up there. Where we're at right now, I could see it. I could see it running from down here in this spot, with the right disasters and running. I told you that guys this before, that if you were going to buy last year, if you were watching the show when we went through this whole thing, I pointed this all out and I was showing you where we were with the lumber prices, and I said wait till it all comes back down to like up a 500 or below range, and that's exactly where we are right now. It'd be the time to build when lumber is cheap in these dips, because when it runs, the price of lumber is going to go through the roof again. In turn, the price on houses is going to rise. And there's going to come a point, though, to where I feel there's going to be a gap that people, it's going to really start, if it hasn't happened already, start to be unattainable for a lot of people out there to even get a home. Because, what people are making isn't catching up to what people are having to pay in terms of bills. So those fires are out of control. Until I see them calm down and put out, there's a risk here that lumber could run through the roof. And if it does, expect housing. And I got more on housing here in just a minute. At this point it is, Clifton, James Kelly, unless somebody out there can prove something. We got a spaceship, I'll go with you. Go up into subspace, take a look at things. If I could have it my way, I've said this so many times, if I ever had the extra money, we could do it. I want to launch a space weather balloon with a bunch of cameras, and even possibly live, and just let it go, and then we'll see what we see. And they can't censor it. They can't. None of it. It's the only thing I know to do, to just hush the crowd. Everybody can just shut up, because we ran a test and we got the real results. And until you want to do something and prove it otherwise, it's just all hearsay, right? Or what kind of rock we're living on, right? You notice how I edited out that F-bomb there? Yeah, do that. Try to keep the stream clean here for you, much as possible. Let's look at the most polluted cities in the United States. If you're moving, you don't want to go to one of these cities, in my opinion. Cost is one thing, but then the pollution and all that is another. Let's just take a look here at the most polluted cities in the U.S. And what they say is that nearly 65 million people live in the most polluted cities, and they're breathing in air that's 2 to 3 times or more above the air quality guidelines. That's a massive amount. It says that PM 2.5 is shorthand for any fine particulate matter that is 2.5 microns or less in diameter and includes things like soot, soil, dust, and sulfates. So let's just start off with the worst. The most polluted place in the United States is Bakersfield, California. And let me tell you, California just takes a ton of slots here. The West Coast does. Visalia, California comes in second. Some of these may surprise you. Fresno, California, then Eugene, Oregon, then the Bay Area, then Los Angeles, and Sacramento, Medford, Oregon, Phoenix, Arizona, and Fairbanks, Alaska. Those are the most polluted. We keep on going here. Indianapolis, Yakima, Washington, Detroit, Michigan, Chico, California, Spokane, Washington, Houston, Texas, El Centro, California, Reno, Nevada, Pittsburgh, PA, Kansas City, and Las Vegas, Nevada. Those are the most polluted cities in America, right there, top 19. I ain't trying to be nowhere near one of them places. I'm trying to be like all up in here, up in these mountains or up in the wilderness, away from all that pollution, madness, where all the zombies are going to be. Or, look at this. This is what I was telling you. House down payments are the highest and lowest averages by the city. So let's take a look here. The median down payment when buying a home in the United States right now is $56,000. The average is up 24% from 44,000 just last year. Yeah. It's crazy. So this is going up big time. They say that in Las Vegas, Nevada, the median down payment jumped 60% year over year. It was the largest increase among metropolitan areas that they analyzed. So it says the many cities saw an increase last year, while the only cities that saw a decrease in average down payment percentages were Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. So one of them was just on there as the most polluted cities in the country. And I would say that's one of the reasons why it's the other way. Let's look. The top 10 highest average down payments. Number 1, San Francisco. I'm just going to run down the list. San Jose, Anaheim, Oakland, Los Angeles, all in California in the top 5. New York City, Seattle, San Diego, California, New Brunswick, Jersey, and then Sacramento, California. I mean, California is just across the board in a lot of these slots. The top 10 lowest average down payment percentages are, check this out, Virginia Beach, Virginia is 1.8%. Baltimore, 5%. Pittsburgh, 5%. Detroit, 5%. Philadelphia, 7%. Riverside, California. And I can attest that, I've been to a lot of these cities, and I've been there because of the chaos in the coverage I've given in them. And I can equate that to why you're seeing that this has the lower down payment. DC owner, Nashville, Phoenix, Nashville, Tennessee, and even it's nowhere's perfect. Everywhere's got their crime. It's gonna have something. You're gonna have crackheads around the corner in every town, every city, somewhere. Every city's got a Martin Luther King Drive, right? Every city's got the high rises, and then every city's got its hood. But some have fell apart. There's some beautiful cities out there. I never forget when I got the drone above Philadelphia, man. Man. I was looking at that footage the other night, man. Amazing. But, when you get down below to the streets, it becomes a whole different story, a whole different animal. I remember covering the protest in Philadelphia in the pouring rain. Covering the marches down blocks and all the stuff down there. Met some good people, but I noticed back then even that it seemed like it was like it's falling apart. It seemed like the same thing with Cincinnati, city I grew up in and around. It seemed a lot like Detroit. Like everything just starting to fall apart and like nothing getting upgraded. The more and more I went to these cities, I noticed that in the inner part of the cities was older buildings, but like no renovation, no updates. And it starts to just be a bunch of hollowed out buildings, just like Detroit. It's crazy. And a lot more of these cities are turning that way. take the time, cruise through them, and look. It's heartbreaking, really. Cities maybe some of you grew up in, all the businesses have been shut down and ran out by design. This place is falling apart. City after city. It sucks. It sucks. I had to sit there and watch BLM looting Louisville, all the stores on 4th Street. And I live streamed it, showed all of you, while cops sat there and just watched. I was 10 feet behind these guys, went in the building. I waited on them for like half an hour to come out. They still never came out. It was crazy. It was just madness. We had to get out of there because they were burning down buildings, and the building connected to our hotel was on fire. It was nuts. I've watched them just devastate this whole place, city after city after city. And like the cops stand there and do nothing. That's been the worst part about it. All right, so I'm going to move on here to an update on the EVs. On the last stream, I told you how it just was not working, that all these companies are losing money. Huge money. Ford, Chevy even discontinuing the Malibu because they're being forced to make more EVs by the year 2027. All because of government. And they're trying to say here now that trying to transition all the big rigs on the road to electric raises costs by 114%. And I've heard it's even higher than that. Trying to convert everything to EV is ridiculous. We don't even have the infrastructure. I told you the other day on a stream they spent $7.5 billion and there's only 7 charging stations. From that is like, it's robbery. Like, get out of here. And like half of them don't even work, and then you have to sit there in massive lines and wait. How is anyone ever going to go on vacation and travel cross country like that, or anything, do business like that? You can't. No, it's just not happening. Well, they're going to try to force this. I hate to tell you guys. At some point, people got to make a stand. You got to talk to your senators, your politicians, something. Let them know, like, look, this is your line. Like, I was at a light the other day. I don't know where I was. It was in the street, getting across a road or something. But I just noticed these cars at the light that were sitting there, turned green, and like a couple of them had to hurry up and turn on real quick before it could take off. And I'm like, dang. They were sitting there still for just a couple seconds. All I could think of is, man, that's a couple seconds, man. If I had to get out of a situation, there was someone pulling up with a gun or something, and I had to yank it out of there real quick. Oh, I gotta wait for the car to start. Oh, no. I don't think so. I do not think so. You're not gonna catch me in none of that crap. I'll be driving an old school Nova or some shit. Like, something like, might want to be driving an EMP-proof car anyway these days. Probably be the wiser thing to do. Yeah, even more of an excuse to go get that old school ride you always wanted, huh? Most don't have a computer on board. So what's the most in-demand jobs for the next decade? I think this matters because everywhere you go out there, the jobs are just shriveling up and disappearing because all the places are disappearing. Then all the mom and pop shops are getting liquidated. And then robots, AIs coming in. So what's the most in-demand job for the next decade? It's going to be home health care. Personal care aides. Someone that can help you, because in the next decade, our country, along with others, we're going to have an older population. The way that it's going, it's going to be that many more people that are going to need health care. And they already know that a lot of the stuff is going to move out of the hospitals and into the homes, almost like a hospice type deal. But not like all end of life care, but just home health care, personal care aides for a ton of different reasons. It's going to go through the roof because robots, at the end of the day, just can't do what humans can do in this department. Software developers is going to be another big one. I'm not so sure about some of these because it just seems to me like AI can come in and write and develop software, boom, boom, in blink of an eye. And that's the stuff you got to watch out for. Restaurant cooks. That's going to be something because, you're going to need, everyone wants to see, a human cooking their food for the most part, not some robots back there, but I don't know. Because it depends. There's a place for everything, but as long as it's taking human jobs, it's not good. Stockers, registered nurses, hand laborers, material movers, those types of things, light truck drivers, those are going to be in demand. As long as this economy is still going, as long as they ain't crashed everything. Okay, so what jobs are most at risk? Let's see what they say here. Cashiers, that's number one at the top. It's like it's gone bye-bye. Secretaries and administrative assistants, gone. Office clerks, customer service reps, because it can just be AI these days. You may even be getting these AI robocalls. You're like, hello, hello, hello. You hit 3 times at the beginning. It's like, okay. Bookkeeping, accounting, things like that. Look, and it even says here, I just told you about the food, but it says here, fast food cooks. So the fast food, if you're going out to a nice restaurant, those type of cooks and stuff, they're going to be wanted and in demand. If you're going to like a McDonald's or something, they're just replacing you with the robot. Fully automated line. Which is crazy. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. World's constantly changing. They say you got to roll with the punches, but some of these punches I ain't even taking. I'm ready to serve them an uppercut. But where's robots the highest in the world already? Let's look there real quick. South Korea, and then China, followed by Switzerland. United States somewhere in the middle of the pack. So those places, you wonder why people are. That one of the last streams said that the highest suicide rate in the world in terms of countries was South Korea. How? What? You would think it would have been North Korea. No, it was South Korea. Something going on with the people don't see. The people just getting weeded out there. AI robots just taking over full scale in South Korea. All right. So I told you that this EV thing isn't going to last. So we got a coalition of states. I don't know exactly which ones, but they say 24 states are now suing the Biden administration over the mandates for these electric vehicles. Because everyone's starting to see that it's garbage. It's a gimmick. And they don't want their state getting hurt. They don't want jobs being lost. They don't want all these issues arising and being forced to do it. What happened to choices and land of the free and all this other stuff? They're trying to ram it down people's throats. And this is just one of them things, man. They're gonna see it backfire. They're already seeing it backfire. What are they eventually going to do? To stop shipping gas to gas stations and all this? Try to force everybody to do it? I mean, for real. What's it going to come down to? When you've got goons like Biden in there. So, I'll keep you updated on that, where that lawsuit goes. Today, though, it looks like gold, crypto, and all these things start to run. To make a long story short here in the financials, it's because they're saying it looks like Powell is signaling there's going to be rate cuts in the offing. And the dollar came down and started to fall initially. But when this happens, you often see people hedge their bets and they jump into other things. Well, they jumped into everything. They jumped into gold, into Bitcoin, even stocks. It sent stocks soaring. You probably wouldn't realize this right now. Most people not making any money off of anything right now because this place is so damaged. Um, Let me explain to you a couple things here real quick. Okay? We're going to enter a new phase here very shortly of banks collapsing. Okay? Now, you may have seen this stuff with like G or AMC and these other stocks running here recently. These big stock FOMOs. What has happened is traditionally, how this always works is the big dogs, the rich guys out there, would find a company like GameStop or something that was falling apart. And what they would do is they would put in a very long short, which means that they are betting on that stock that it falls in a downfall. They are betting on its demise versus getting in the stock and letting it go up. When you short a stock, you ride it down. And what these criminals have done is they've targeted certain companies and tried to get into the upper ranks of owning them just to pillage the company and bring the company down. As the company is being brought down from within that they are helping to bring down, they are making money on it every step of the way. Do you now see how it works? It is fraudulent. It is criminal. This is how it's done. And this is what they're doing. Okay? So a couple guys realized that, hold on a second. They're leveraging a lot of equity. And what that means is when you're leveraging, you're going to borrow. Okay? You're going to borrow someone else's money to put it on a bet. And then when your bet cashes out, you go back and you pay them off what you borrowed. Okay? It's easy to do when the stock is way higher and you sell it at a way higher price. Or you're making money, period. Traditionally, it's when it goes high. But you can make money when it's shorts, too. And a lot of people don't realize this. And it's one thing to try to make a business successful. You can't go in and force success. But what you can do is go into a company, buy it up, and you can force it to close its doors. You can force upon it crap. You can force it to be junk. You can make it that way. Just by doing nothing. You could just flat out to say, up, shut the doors, fire everybody, all this stuff, and then everything's going to tank on it. You run it to the ground. While it's tanking, you're banking. That is shorting the game. Okay? So, some smart guys knew this and caught on to this and seen what they were doing. And they were like, you know what? You know what? Let's stick it to them. Let's stick it to them. Let's get everybody we know to start buying immediately this stock, and let's run it as high as we can run it, and just keep doing it, and just keep running it and run it. Because what this is going to force is it's going to force these guys that bought at a certain spot, they're going to have to start buying back to pay back their debts, their leverage at a higher price. And this smokes them. And what this does, when you go far enough north, say there's a level line, say on my screen, say right here, where this sentence is, this is a level line. When you go far enough north, they're going to liquidate your bet. Okay? They're going to liquidate your short. When this thing starts to run north, what it does is it wipes out all the shorts that were in the books. All these dudes that bet, all this stuff, it starts to eat them up and wipe them out. And it puts them in the red now. You see? And it's payback time at that point. These guys running this thing know this. They know that they're screwing the guys that have been doing this the whole time. So GameStop, these insolvent companies that are all of a sudden running, and you're like, how and why? This is why. Okay, a little one-on-one real quick on what's happening daily in almost all these conditions when you see these pump and dump type deals in stocks. Crypto is a little bit different realm. I could talk probably for a long time on that stuff, but got a lot to cover here. I want to keep it pushing. I'm going to go ahead and load up a chest for everybody over here. It is the top of the hour. Load up a chest for everybody on D Live. I'll open it in just a second. Please don't donate any lemons. Best way to support the channel is buy me a coffee or PayPal. Truly, it is the best way to support because lemons I do not get. It is giving back. Throw them out there. I'm opening that chest. I wish I could give back on other platforms. It's actually a good feature. I wish I could host on other platforms as well. It's a good feature on D Live. But, busting that chest open for you guys right now. Consumer price index in the meantime is up 20% to a record high, meaning everything consumers are paying on average is up that much, 20% more. As D White takes a bong rip. Hoodie Ross coming in, man. It was meant for you. As you say, hey, that was you, right there all day. Steve, for me in the house. I'm Barker, Galra, Sonic Cat. Much love to all you guys on that one. Keep it pushing here. Goldman Morning Copper is having a Cocoa moment. Because Cocoa ran really big, but now it's dropping out. Because they run these things just as I just told you. They can run so high and then they'll drop out hard. These guys run them high, cash out, and then turn around and set a short from the top. And then ride it all the way down. They're making money hand over fist, especially when you're controlling the game, when you know every move. The average cat out there, the best you could do is to sit here and try to time these things. I've done a lot of charting over the years. Even opened up a TradingView account just for it and studied a lot into cryptos and stocks, and a lot of it's rigged, straight up. These days, a lot of the trading's done by bots. So if you don't have bots to compete against it, it's you against bots out there, literally. Think about that. Long trading, I feel, is the best. If you can buy things and dips and learn to hold long, not only is it better tax-wise on you, but like with gold, silver, for instance, I've been telling you for a long time. If you would just listen back when we started with gobbling it up, you see where it's at now. Copper going through the roof. What did I say on last stream? What did they show us already? What are thieves doing? When tornadoes are coming through or storms, they're already getting desperate to where as soon as the power goes out, they're chainsawing or chopping down the power poles, cutting the cables on both ends. That way, if it comes back up, it won't shock them. And then they're taking it. They're taking the whole line back to their lair where they can strip down the copper out of it. And they're going to get a ton of it. And if they got torches and all this other stuff, they can just melt it down into one big lump. And no one can ever prove where it came from. And they'll go and they'll cash it in. Try to. So yeah, copper's running. What do we have here? We've got another story, just like the one I just told you. You better watch out. I'm serious. Everybody just watch out. Because it's on with these thieves. A lot of tea in the house. Scrappers are now targeting Tesla superchargers because they're loaded with the metals. This is terrible news for EVs in general, much less the drivers or anyone. These things are going to be targeted. They're going to be sitting ducks. I don't know what's going to be left of them to even be operational after they get done stripping them. It's saying here, fast forward to today, thieves are targeting electric vehicle charging stations because the charging cords at each stall contain a gold mine of copper that can easily be scrapped. So we wonder what's been happening to all the lines. It hasn't just been people trying to vandalize it or pissed off at EVs. No, they're stealing it and they're getting the copper out of the wire. So they're snatching it up wherever they can. There's wires at these places. They're taking them. You see, you didn't have to deal with that at a traditional gas station. You are here, though. Bay Area thieves already taking the cables. I told you, they're cutting down telephone poles. They're doing whatever. Just a heads up. Yeah, man. Dude's in the house. I've got one here on Money's grim future. And it points out here this gold back. And I wanted to talk about that for a second. Much love, Kathy. You may have seen one of these things. You may have one. I don't know. These gold backs, I mean, it's all about, when it comes to the system breaking down and preparing and all those things, it's all about being able to trade with the people around you, and it has to be something that they will accept. If you've got things that Mickey Mantle baseball cards you're willing to trade for a bag of rice, it could mean nothing to them, you know? Although you got an extra plow for a tractor laying over there, yeah, I'll trade you a few bags of rice for that. You see? It's things like that that are going to mean something. Just remember that. When it comes to gold, I deal with gold and silver, the physical, specifically because of the properties of being a store of value and being able to use silver just like we do in society today with all of our coinage as a system of buy and trade. If I've got gold, anything gold or silver, the first thing that I'm doing with it, if somebody comes in, they've got a gold bracelet, gold ring, silver, anything, I'm melting it down. Melting it down to see what's in it. Okay? So if I get a gold back, somebody comes in with the gold back, I'm like, look, it's a gold back. It's 1/1000th of a troy ounce of 24 karat gold. Let me tell you something. I'm a smelter. I smelt down gold and silver. I do it myself. I'm not going to get anything out of this thing. Not. If I try to melt this thing down, whatever it melts down to is probably going to stick to the crucible. I mean, 1/1000th. I'm just being real with you. So, everybody's different. But if somebody comes in with these gold backs to me, like, look, I got 1,000 of these gold backs. They're all different denominations. Look, this one says this. Look. I don't care. I can melt them all down right now, and I'll be lucky if I got a tiny smidge of real gold out of the whole thing, which isn't nothing. If you want to use them as dollars to trade and all that, that's one thing. But to try to get the gold value out of them is nothing to me in that situation. I would turn it down. To be honest with you, somebody came to me like, look, you can melt it down. It should be this much. I wouldn't even mess with it. I'd spend more on the gas trying to burn it down than I'd even get out of it. And these are the realities of things you need to think about. You're going to run into a guy like me in town that's the smelter that's melting things down, rings, watches, your silverware, fine china, all that. Yeah, he's going to melt it down and then put a price on the pure, whatever pure you got left of silver or gold or whatever it is, even copper or whatever metals. That's how it's going to be done. So just a warning for people that think that these gold backs are a way to go. I got one that was given to me. That's the only way that I'd have it because I wouldn't buy one ever. It's just my personal opinion. If you got some out there, more power to you. I hope you got someone out there that'll trade. That's all it's about. As long as you got a neighbor that will trade for them, then you're good. If not, then they're worthless. That's what you really need to be focused on. Hell, you could have a couple of apple trees going with apples and then be more valuable than any of this to your neighbors and to the people trying to stay alive. Just saying. And get ready for anyone out there that's an entrepreneur or that has a small business. If you thought that it's been bad under the Biden regime thus far, watch out. Because he is about to raise taxes. They're going to rise here 20% on small businesses. And this is going to crush them. He recently promised that if he is reelected, he will dramatically raise taxes on small businesses by letting the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expire in 2025 as scheduled. This means that small businesses would face a 20% tax hike, the end of bonus depreciation, and higher tax brackets on their earnings. All this is all designed to kill this country. It's all designed to kill the country. He's on film, flat out telling everybody, if you vote for me, I'm raising your taxes. Like, who votes for that? Who wants to just give the government more of their hard-earned money? Thank you, PK. Yeah, just questions, honest questions. So, I don't know, man. It seems to me that this inflation has hurt a lot of people. I mean, I run into people all over the place at stores, at gas stations, tire shops, markets, just anywhere. And they're all complaining the same thing. And they're not necessarily Republicans or anything like that. A lot of people from where I'm at they see the federal government for what it is. Just put it that way. But they're all complaining that, in all their lives, a lot of these people older than me, 50, 60 years, they've never seen an economy this bad. I mean, what does that tell you? That's bad. And people have been around 60-some years say, I ain't never seen it like this bad. Well, you know what I say? I say we should probably take a good look at history, because history tends to repeat itself. And oftentimes we're compared to Rome. And if you look back at what happened to Rome, it's very interesting. Right now, we have a $34 trillion debt. Okay? And we just keep on printing and printing and printing. Maybe we should look at what happened to the Romans. Yeah, we all know that the Roman Empire fell, but how? And why? Why? And what caused the biggest, baddest empire on the planet to fall? What brought Rome down? Seriously, what was it? Do you know? Well, I'll tell you if you don't. exactly what we're going through right now. Inflation, hyperinflation, and frantically printing money until things went horribly wrong. Yeah, Rome is still around. So is the UK when the pound fell. And the US should still, in some form or fashion, and the dollar still be around after the next big event. It will be. It'll just be switched to a CBDC. Everyone will. That's the whole thing. That's where it's all going here. So let me just kind of put this into perspective. It says when Augustus slowed the expansion of the empire in Rome, when they stopped expanding, wealth stopped flowing from conquered lands into the treasury. Okay? So managing construction, armies, bureaucracies, it all became more difficult. So whenever costs started to exceed the tax income, the emperors minted new coins to cover it, just like we're doing today. Then mining of precious metals increased the supply of gold and silver coinage, which we see out there. And what are the central banks doing? They're gobbling up all the gold on the planet more than they ever have in history. So when they brought gold and silver into the equation, it says things remained pretty stable for a couple centuries. Okay? This reminds me of the image I showed you before of the dollar's purchasing power back in 19 whatever. Compared to today, it's like less than 1% of what it was. It's ridiculously stupid. Same thing. So the army that Rome had was an immense burden. And they say that it was 70% of their entire budget. They had 500,000 soldiers on their payroll when this struck, which was bad. Then other people started to attack them. All these expenses started to soar. So what did they do? Thank you, Meat Puppet. Oh, yeah. Definitely prepare. Thank you for the 3 coffees. Thank you for the support in the comment. Yeah, well, I'm going to get on to more to add to what I'm saying to your point here in just a second as well. But the soldiers could no longer be paid. So what did they start doing? They started debasing the currency. And this is what has happened to us all the way to this point. Because we were backed by gold, and then Nixon and all them did away with it. And they stole all the gold also in this country. History does repeat itself. But in terms of debasing, when you took the gold away from backing it, it's very similar to what they did here, but they did things a little bit different. Well, we also did this. We had pure silver in circulation. And throughout the years, they've taken it away. They've taken it away, and they've taken it away. All the real silver has been replaced by other cheaper metals in the coinage. But wouldn't you know that that's exactly what they were doing? Nero began clipping coins and diluting the silver purity in 64 AD. Is where it all started to go downhill. The state soon got addicted to doing this and lining the pockets of politicians at the same time. I mean, does this sound familiar? The denarius was down to 60% silver purity by the 3rd century. Okay? Still, they kept spending to prop up this illusion of prosperity until things got really bad. By 268 AD, the denarius was 0.5% silver. A bag full of coins replicated the silver content that a single coin could have got 100 years earlier. Same thing here. By 300 AD, soldiers were paid 8x in denarius compared to a century before. And wheat prices were 200x. So what they began to do is the one thing that kept the currency relevant being backed by the precious metal or the precious metal itself. Being precious, he just simply started taking more and more and more away from it. And one week he'd be like, "Oh, we're 55%. Just take it down to 50." Yeah, and it just kept going. He did that throughout his whole life, and it never ended. The same scheme has been put upon us with the U.S. dollar to continue to just keep on printing. Now, also what hurt them is they tried to stabilize everything, and it all failed. But the gold and the silver mines dried up. They weren't bringing in as much as they were before, and just everything turned. Um, this is when the system started to break, and one of their famous leaders here, Septimus Severus, told all of his generals, live in harmony, enrich the troops, and ignore everyone else. He basically said, to hell with the everyday people. Basically, live lavish until the end, until your day's done, and say the hell with all the rest of the people. That's how they looked at it. And you don't think that our politicians aren't going to do the same? Aren't doing the same right now? They're just like him. So, Red Lobster abruptly closing dozens of locations, losing their key supplier. It's fire selling kitchen equipment. It's over. Staples that were in this country falling apart left and right. Disappearing where they're no more. Literally, by 2030, will this place even be recognizable? Systematically removing all these businesses. Yeah, Bidenomics working right, Tooch. Working exactly how they wanted it. This is it. They're all going down like dominoes. Pisses me off. It's like we're helpless. We just sit here and we have to watch the destruction. It's like having to stand there front row and watch the towers come down. Feeling helpless. People jumping. I don't forget. Anyhow, Tyson Foods CEO adds to the whole mix. He says, well, I'm not too sure when we're going to recover from the nation's collapsing beef herd. Not sure when it's ever going to reverse. If it's going to, how can it? The conditions got to be right for it to go in the right direction. If they're not in the right environment, it's not going to get any better. And I reported on the last stream, a bunch of people were flipping out about all this stuff, like, oh, they're going to put tracking in all the cattle. And, well, I broke it down right in front of you for those that missed it. They've been RFID tracking the cattle since 2008, 2009. It's been happening. So I don't know why that's all of a sudden getting talked about big time, because it's been happening. So Tyson's food CEO saying, I don't know. I don't know if this is ever going to reverse. I don't know what's going to go on. Man, it would pay to know a good farmer right now that raises cattle. I'm telling you. It'd pay to be in a state that's going to fight all this. So I do feel really comfortable in the state that I'm in. I mean, no place is perfect. But my state has shown me time and time again here, they're ready to mount up against this. From going constitutional carry, just telling the feds that they're on their own if they come in here. No police can help them. To all these things. To telling JP Morgan Chase and all the climate guys that if you're going to play the climate crap, get out. Because we're about coal, and we don't care what none of you say. It keeps people alive and all this other stuff. Well, other states buckle and don't do nothing like that. So I'm glad I'm in a state that at least makes a stand like that. Well, I'm also glad that I'm in a state where when you go down the road, everyone's already surviving. They got their gardens, their chickens, and all that. The lights could go out, and it's not really going to affect the people around here. That's the beautiful thing about it. I said that to a guy when I was talking at a place, and he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "One thing's for sure, we will survive. We already know what it's like to come from the gutter." So it's not going to work on certain places. Trying to pull the rug out on everybody, trying to starve them out, and do all these other things. When what's new to some people, like. And look at this: the grain that feeds the world is about potentially to make a breakout. This means the price is going to go through the roof. It's going to be harder to get rice, the number one staple around the planet for people to eat, especially throughout Asia and Europe, Latin America, and Africa. Grown in over 100 countries. It's 90% of the world's, with 90% of the world's rice produced in Asia alone. You get into it with China again. I don't know if you ever see any rice here, unless you're growing it. And rice is something a lot of people depend on in their emergency food reserve because it can stay good for quite a while. But are Americans ready for mass starvation? I don't think so. I don't think no one is, but we've never seen it. The United States has never seen it. Even compared to the Great Depression, the U.S. population today is completely removed from agriculture. It has no idea what living off the land means. It has no idea. So it says that even during the Great Depression, the U.S. was majority where people could live off the land and they knew how to do it. Davey, thank you for the coffees. Mad respect and mad love right back. Much love, God bless. I appreciate that to the fullest. But even during the Great Depression, most people knew how to live off the land. So it was never a famine. And this is the point. When you know how to live off the land, that famine could pass you up. It's just there's been small regional famines, such as the Dust Bowl in the 30s, but nothing remotely close to the types of famines that have been seen in Asia, in the Eastern Bloc, in Africa, the Middle East, all in the past 100 years. But today, the population is largely removed from agriculture and has no idea what living off the land even means. So I will say that in the past, decade with us out here fighting the fight, and a lot of you as well, and other people in the community, the preparedness culture has exploded in popularity. And at least that gets people prepared. I tell you all the time, one of the best things that you could do right now is to get out there and start growing. I've got to get more things in the ground myself. You can never have enough, in my opinion, but get something going. It'll help mitigate the damage at the grocery store to the checkbook. You'll be living healthier. Go non-GMO, heirloom seeds. I think one of the last places I bought from was Heaven's Harvest. There's a handful of different places out there, but I myself need to get an update. The kit that I bought a few years back for seeds and all that, what I didn't use in it, I would say that even though you may be able to plant them and get stuff to grow, you really want the freshest seeds as possible. I always take seeds from whatever we grow, and I'll take the fresh seeds from it, back them up, write on it, the date, what it's from, and all that. And I know that I've got the fresh ones for the next year. Versus if you've got a supply from 3 years ago and you keep pulling out of that and keep pulling out of that, those seeds are going to get old and they're going to lose over time some of their nutritional value and all that other stuff. and just the odds of them growing will deplete over time. This is the way that it is. Black Cat says he needs coffee. If you guys like coffee, make sure to check out beardvet.com. Got some of the best coffee in town and good cats as well. So, I say it all the time, man, get your little garden going. Best way to go. And check this out. I've mentioned this as well. We're going in reverse. In terms of our population and growth in this country, we are now going in reverse. And unless you break that trend, a country that's going in reverse will soon cease to exist. Will soon cease to exist. Okay, so the demographics, man, the fertility rates are crazy. In the United States, if we want to maintain a stable population, we need the fertility rate to be at 2.1 or above. So unfortunately, our fertility rate has dropped to just 1.62 just this last year. That's an all-time record low, y'all. We're going in reverse, dying off. U.S. population shrinking, getting older. Yeah, and it is being projected that just 6 years from now, seniors will actually outnumber the children for the first time in our entire history. Just 6 years from now, seniors will outnumber the children. That's where we're at in this conundrum. And all this, man, but keep it pushing. If you guys missed it today, a large barge slams into the Galveston Bridge. This strands thousands of people on Pelican Island. They got a campus of Texas A&M right there. And it just shows that our infrastructure is continuing to deteriorate and fall apart. The image I shared out there for the stream tonight showed a dude pointing up like, I've seen this before. Yeah. Everybody remembers what just happened up there at the harbor on the East Coast. And now, down here in the Gulf, this happens. And a part of the bridge did collapse. It was the railroad part. It collapsed down onto the barge. And luckily, if you needed to get out of here, this wasn't like a trapped-in bay. You could have went out the other way of the channel. But for anyone that was on the island, this bridge, which was shut down, it's the only way in and out. Road-wise. It's the only way in and out. So, it also began to leak hazardous materials into the waterway. You can see the sheen right there. And it raises the question, why is all this happening now? How come we've gone by years now? Years and years and like none of this stuff has happened back to back like this. How come some of our infrastructure isn't protected? How come it's not protected, man? How come there's not protective barriers around these beams or pillars? Like this one. It says dozens of major bridges lack shields to block the ships. I mean, look at all these. Ben Franklin Bridge, Crescent City, all these, man, in all types of different cities. Memphis, Arkansas Bridge, Sherman Minton Bridge, Veterans Memorial Bridge. Just all of them, man. I know that one going across the river from Kentucky to Cincinnati. Somebody takes it out. It's a triple stacker. It's got like traffic going one way, multiple lanes. Above it, it's got traffic going the other, and above that, it's got like train tracks. That thing comes down, man. It's going to be a nightmare. And look at this new image. This is in terms of pier protection on major bridges across the country. And look at that. No protection in all these places it's got red. Just waiting for a disaster. You go down this Ohio River starting in West Virginia, and hit 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 major places you get knocked. Maybe even 5 with this one here. Mississippi's got 1 on it. The Ohio River. That many susceptible places. And I know because I've crossed it's more than that. I'm telling you, it's more than what they're even. Where this dot is, there's multiple bridges there crossed into Cincinnati. Multiple. They could be taken out that way. Then when you go 275 loop around toward Indiana, toward that way, there's a bridge there. Same thing. Like, even the I-75 loop going east across the river out the other way. Bridge there. Telling you, man, I've always said a big earthquake or just events or these things crumbling, not good. Not good. Right, gonna slide into the political news here. RFK Jr., which I don't really care for, but it's beside the point, I guess. This dude's running for president, and he is filling a position that was really for a long time ignored. That third party. Last time there was anyone that was in third party I could ever remember that came in and anything with what, Ross Perot? Closest anyone got, I think Ron Paul stepped up and tried to act like he was going to do something with it, but nah. This is the strongest push ever that someone's come down this avenue. Independent, in my mind. I'll give him that. I give props to the due, and I'm gonna tear him a new one where it's due. But he's suing Meta and a bunch of these others. Talking about censorship. He's probably not wrong in a lot of this. That's the thing. Because we're all getting censored. Every freaking one of us on these platforms by them. And yeah, no doubt he is. If you're not buddy with them, you're getting censored. If you're not paying money, you're getting censored, it seems. You're being hidden. To like pay to promote, to even get your stuff out there, be seen, which isn't free speech. So, word breaks that there's going to be a debate. And RFK starts to flip out. He's screaming collusion, that Biden and Trump are working together to ditch him. Look, this whole thing's a show. They're all characters on the stage. I will say this. He is going to have an impact on the election. If it's something especially that's close, which I don't believe it is or was last time or anything like that. Anything close, someone like him in a position like this can definitely change the game. You can take away votes from one person, or when you drop out, it could swing to another. He admits that it would probably go against Trump. It would hurt Trump more if he's in this. Plus, he says they're colluding to go head to head, and that 70% of America doesn't want that. And I don't know about that. I don't know where he's pulling his polls from, but so this is what Biden did. Biden said, and it wasn't just Biden. Obviously, it's his handlers here. They're saying he's going to debate Trump on June 27th and again in September. But there's some rules to this. First off, I'm sure it's going to be massively scripted. Jay's going to have time to practice all of everything in advance repeatedly. There can be no audience. There can be no one there to show you how they really feel. And much love and thank you for the prayers for my health. Still doing the same, unfortunately. Hands still numb. Thank you for the 3 coffees. It's all appreciated to the fullest, all the prayers as well. But look, Junior wants in on these debates. And would he smoke them on these debates? Probably so. Biden wouldn't be able to defend himself. So you can't have an audience, or they would boo. Just like you can't have thumbs down on videos, or you would see the true nature of how people really feel, and they're wanting to hide it all. It's that crazy. I'll guarantee you if Trump gets in office, the thumbs down comes back on YouTube. Watch. It was one of them. It's one of them rare things that shows you the true feelings of everyone. That wasn't censored. They couldn't find a way to censor besides just removing it. So Trump has to debate him by himself with no audience, and Trump has got to have his mic muted anytime Biden's speaking. So he can't say, no, that's a lie or anything like that. He can't, nothing like that. They're going to literally have a switch on him. Now, will they do the same for Biden and put a switch on him? No, I don't know. But literally, it's got to be rigged up this way for him to participate. Just so you know. It's not like it's going to be like one of these past debates where they're just shooting from the hip, going at it like we saw with the whole panel up there. Ramaswamy was firing shots on them. Which, you want a debater up there, a guy that can really speak, up there, it's Ramaswamy. I can't believe that one lady, Ann Coulter, came up there. She goes, I wouldn't vote for you because you're an Indian. More on that later. Like, you're not a white dude, so I'm not like, you're not like the standard quote. It was like as racist as it got. I could not believe she said that to him like that, but she did. And it's all rigged anyway. But, if I saw someone out there that was really bringing up points and it was really a good speaker, it was Ramaswamy. People lend an ear to what he has to say. I'm not saying he's not a sly politician, because they all are. But just, he hit on better points, man, and seemed to really, be behind him. I don't know. I just don't really care for RFK. Yeah, they're all snakes. Yeah, all of them. Until one of us get in there. So, Stormy Daniels and her husband, they're probably going to leave the United States if Trump is acquitted. And if you've been missing the action here, they had this big trial and they brought in Stormy Daniels as the witness, the first one, against Trump. And they completely blindsided them. They had no idea they were about to do all this. And she comes in and she starts giving all these details about her encounters with Trump and all this stuff. And I think what it did for anyone paying attention is it did show, and even if you're a Trumper, you got to be honest and you got to be real. It showed that Trump was unfaithful to Melania. And he was. He was with this woman. And she goes on saying that Trump made the comments that I haven't slept in the same bed as Melania and forever, and all these comments, and what he was wearing, the position that he was in, the position that they were in, and all these things. And it did not paint a good picture of Donald Trump, that's for sure. For anyone that sees him as like this godlike figure. Melania's held strong, staying with him. Because obviously he wasn't faithful. And someone of his stature and degree, who knows? I mean, look, when it comes to the elite in these rings, the circles they run in, and all that, some of the stuff, they don't live lives the way that we do. Okay, they just don't. Trump aside, any of these other people that were going to Epstein Islands and doing all this other stuff, you think that they cared much about their vows to their significant other when they're out there doing that? Doing all that crap? Come on. So it's you know, sometimes you got to face the fire, dude. And some people live a lie all the time, and it's just we don't do that around here. Um, you face it for what it is. But so um, yeah, Stormy and them want to leave. Oh well. I mean, uh, um, all right. I'm gonna get into some other news here. If you guys missed this as well, we have a shooting that took place. It was of the Slovakian prime minister, and this was the same prime minister that just got done rejecting the WHO climate stuff. So very interesting. Not going to play the shooting clip because I'll try to flag it, I'm sure. But this is the guy, the shooter. They're saying that the man shot is alive and is looking to recover. This Robert Fico was the man that fired the shots. And it just seemed, I don't know, this whole thing. Anyhow, it broke as like an assassination, but then the dude's not dead. So it looks like he may survive these gunshots. And things are just getting crazy out there, and it comes to these migrants all over the place. It's no secret, all over the place. Now, in Germany, the rail union is warning that the train systems are turning into battlegrounds thanks to male migrants. They are attacking the women. You've seen it in videos. You've seen them where they're spitting on, smacking, disrespecting, treating women like dogs. It's insane, dude. I don't know how it's not WWE Royal Rumble on these things. Where the men are to stand up and to check these animals that are putting their hands on the women like this. But this is what Germany's facilitated. They have allowed this. Okay, remember, they've allowed this by letting all these migrants in. America. What do you think is happening here? Okay, I will say though, a majority of the migrants that are coming in here are different. The Chinese, the Asian. They're not these other ones that are being rounded up in different areas of the world and being sent here. You don't see Chinese migrants spitting on people in Germany. It's not the case. It's different. There's something different going on here. You don't see Chinese migrants in a lot of these countries. You're seeing Muslim or African ones. How's that? How's that? Like they've all been selectively picked to go in to areas that they absolutely would not assimilate the most on missions. With the Chinese seeing a 7,000% increase coming across our border. Dude, it's the number one warning that I could tell anyone. Besides getting ready for the big event that's about to go down, they're going to be a part of it. They're here. There's over 1 million. They're sitting in the shadows. And I'm telling you, when this goes down, they're going to make a move that people are just not ready for. 7 in 10 Europeans say that the government is allowing too much immigration. They are the replacements. But these replacements, they can't be that stupid, all of them. I could see some of them are taking advantage of an opportunity in their eyes. But what happens when you get here? You're the new citizen, and you want freedoms. You want this. You want that. You want to be respected. And all of a sudden, this government that just used you to get you in here to overthrow the free people that were going to fight them, all of a sudden, you're starting to feel sympathy for the people you just fought against. Because you see how beast and tyrannical this place is. And then, next thing you know, there's another wave of migrants coming. And they're coming to replace you. So it'll never end. Wave after wave. One wave will replace the next and the next. And America is done. This is done. It's pathetic. A border should be locked down, cold, tanks down there. I don't care what it is. Lined up. None of all these pansies. So over half of the illegal aliens in the U.S. are unemployed. You imagine the millions coming in, all unemployed? The millions that are coming in that are employed are stealing up jobs from legal Americans. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. In an update on the protest, apparently tonight, UC Irvine, their protests take a turn. They're saying that the protesters there have been trying to demand certain things like they have been on all these campuses week after week. This time the cops had to come in because of what they're doing. They're in this encampment and they're basically saying that they're about to reclaim it. They're going to take over the whole thing. They're just going to take over the whole place, not just their encampment, the whole place. So the cops have to come in, and this isn't going to stop. These guys are just getting warmed up. The political events have not even begun. I did a poll on the last stream about what would you guys rather see? What do you think is going to pop off? Live stream action from the LNC, the DNC, or the RNC? I think it ended up being a tie between DNC and RNC, 50-50. Those events are going to see insane protests. Okay? What do you think these debates are going to do? Wherever they have them. They're going to see the same thing. Wherever this political stuff starts to amass, you're going to see these protests. They're going to shift. They're going to shift from these colleges right on over to this whole political spectrum on a turn of a dime, because that's what they've been sent here to do. We're not stupid. So check this one out. The FBI putting out some warnings. The ISIS boogeymen now. They're saying that they could come out the shadows and attack pride parades. Amid Biden's border crisis, they're saying that foreign terrorist organizations or supporters may seek to exploit increased gatherings associated with the upcoming June 2024 Pride Month. What are they telegraphing? What do they know? What's about to happen? Oftentimes, these warnings get thrown out there, they get forgot about, months roll by, something goes down, we backtrack, we look, and we're like, oh, well, they told us. As they always do, ahead of time. Where at, we don't know, don't have the crystal ball, but this is where everyone has to be vigilant. Head on a swivel. Seriously, it's the season right now. A quick update on what's going on in Venezuela. Apparently, military moves are going down. And if big war starts to go hot down here in Venezuela, watch out. Because Colombia, all the surrounding area, the oil, the United States has been trying to find a way in there to get a good foothold in there for some time. Their puppet never worked that they had down there. Got rejected. Never even was put in power fully. Maduro's still there, still controlling everything. And they're about to go to war with Guyana next door over a region that has gas and oil. And if you don't know where this is at, it's right here. You look at this map. Venezuela, you see this Ancoco Island. It's a little island made by the rivers here. And they're about to put a military base there because Venezuela says all this area over here is theirs. They claim it. That's what they're doing. So this island, it's here officially, that's their land. They're going to stage all their military stuff right here, and then they're going in, is what it seems like. They're going to try to go in and seize this area because of the gas and oil in it. And it's been disputed for some time. And it's not just here. It's all the way out up here off the coast as well. So we don't hear of a lot of action, militarily and stuff down there in South America. But I'm telling you, between the stuff we've already witnessed in Colombia and our own feds and government and military in and out of these countries, yeah. Yeah, so they're saying that Vladimir Putin now is plotting physical attacks on the West. Really? So this is outside of Ukraine. They're going to start attacking us. Are you telling me that Russia themselves openly is going to attack the United States in the city? Here, somewhere? Is that going to happen? Huh? Well, look at this. America's bunker buster bomb production is tripled. And what this is, it's a special bomb. It's the biggest bomb that we have in our arsenal that's non-nuclear. Okay? The biggest bomb that we've got in our arsenal that's non-nuclear. So they're going to use these for sure, and it's an uptick. They used to make like 2 a month. Now they're making like between 6 and 8 a month. The crazy thing here is they can only be dropped by one aircraft. Only one. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. It is the only aircraft on the planet that can drop these bombs. So you run out of them or something happens to them, you can't no longer drop these bombs. Use these weapons. It's crazy. But our new F-35s are like between 15 and 30% are operational. It's pathetic. We're done. We're done. Our military, they've brought it down. So I just told you Vladimir Putin said he wants to target the West. Well, where would you target? You would target places that make military stuff, wouldn't you? Well, guess where this place is? Guess where the place is that makes all this? Oklahoma. So the Oklahoma plant is being upgraded to support higher production of 2,000 to 30,000 pound bombs. Huh. You don't think that isn't a target? The place making the big bombs you're going to use against the enemy? I do. Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's places like this that would be the top of the list of places to get hit. Big time. Because it's non-nuclear as well. It'd be one huge explosion, but it wouldn't turn it into, Nagasaki or Chernobyl or something like that where you can't go in there for years. It would just level it, and you would be able to go in almost immediately. Because there's no nuclear there. But, again, all speculation. Which brings me to my final piece of the night. And if you missed this, I covered this on both my channels. I got a video on the YouTube channel I'm live on right now, Surviving in Times. I got a short, put up my first short on it. In a video. I think over on my main channel, 7.7, I tried to upload a short over there, but it didn't work, and it ended up just being a video. I got a video over there as well. So that's what I was trying to do there. I finally figured it out and figured out how I could get the shorts to work. I'm just using my phone. But what kicked it all off today was this. King Charles III's brand new portrait reveals some very interesting things. And you can go on for a while. I've had people emailing me and tagging me with all these different faces and eyes and heads and all these things that are in it. But the one thing that is for sure that stands out boldly is this right here, as I shared. Right here, front and center. There's a better one right here. If you guys missed it, yeah. Right there. Where you can see horns wrapping around the head perfectly. Right there. And you can see the whole thing right there perfectly. And I've had people flip and chop and screw this thing. And I've had all kinds of different images coming back at me. Let me look here real quick. There was one. One here I'd like to show you. Yeah, it is even creepier upside down. Here it is. This is the image mirrored, okay? And this is how they do. They invert these things. And it's a mirror image, okay? No, it isn't just AI created. They've been doing this for a long time, all the way back to the Last Supper. I got a video on my main channel, Dabu77, where I showed this exact same thing. Of where there's hidden stuff in it. You can see it all through it. Mirrored when you mirror it. And here's the same thing. All you got to do is simply just mirror the image. You don't have to do any other things. You don't have to change it. We're taking their original design that they threw in there, and we're just simply mirroring it. And this is what you get. Now, when you mirror it, and then you flip it. Pareidolia. Yeah, look at this one. Look at that one. As above, so below. Right in front of your face. And this one, the horns look almost, I think Watchers made the comment, it reminded him of the broken off ones of Hellboy. But, dude, that's it. That is it flipped. Flipped. So I showed you the one way, and now, I mean, dude, this is... It's crazy. This is what is hidden in the image. Again, I got videos on that. Separate videos on the channels. You can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. And shout outs to all the people out there that are finding all these little things that are hidden within it. Well, now your mind's open. Now you see that this is a real thing. Now go apply this to a ton of other things out there. A ton. And prepare to just have your mind blown. You'll see that this has been going on for a long time. Da Vinci hid things within stuff like this the same way. And this is how they do. This is how they hid the meaning of things within stuff. David Torrance bought 3 coffees. Hey, we're screaming Illuminati, busting back at the beast. Yes, you got that right. Oh, man, it just felt good saying that. Is that the exact words I had in a rhyme or something? Because, man, I can't wait to drop the new song. It's my favorite ever. I just listen to it all the time. That's how I know it's my favorite. It gets me amped. When we come to your town. I can't wait to drop it. Next Friday, dropping it. So, yeah, man. So here at the end of the stream, this is Illuminati against this beast. All the way through and through to the end. To the last breath. To the last breath. I thank you guys for everything out there, man. Check the chats here. I look to be back Friday. Friday stream for right now is going to stay exclusive on Rumble. That way, when I've got the certain things I need to air out and talk over there that you can't do on other platforms, I can do it there. Plus, I'm going to be dropping the new music over there. It's another thing I can do over there that I can't do over here on YouTube. So, yeah. Definitely exclusive stuff happening on Friday over there on Rumble. Worth checking out the stream still, even though we're not over here on YouTube. And some of you guys don't like Rumble, this and that, but still, man, it's I utilize it for reasons, man. And that means that the truth is being spoke over there. You understand that? Heavy, free. Okay? On all levels. You don't have to worry about one word slipping out. And nah. That means anything under the sun could be found there than being discussed versus somewhere where it can't. Just remember that. So, much love and prayers. Thank you, E-Fits. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for all the prayers. Thank you for everyone out there that shares the streams, that hangs out and joins us. Again, thank you for the prayers, man. They mean more than some of you guys even will ever know. And thank you for the coffees and the support tonight. Kathy, Meat Puppet, Davey, Deanne, David. All appreciated to the fullest. If I missed anything, apologies. Yeah, look to be back Friday on the other stream. Take us out of here on some music. And again, much love. God bless. Love all y'all. Stay positive. Stay blessed. Be blessed. Much love, Sinaloa. Much love, everybody out there in all your cities, all your hoods, all your towns, all your countrysides. God bless all you. Turn down the volume here a little bit. Before we get out of here, Eon. God bless and much love. Thanks, Dapu. Thank you, Eon, for the 5 coffees. I can't tell you when the next conference is going to be for sure, but this is what I can tell you to prepare for. The only thing I can say is that I'm going to aim for the spring of next year for Las Vegas. It's the best that I can do, and that's just hoping, that's keeping my hopes high, hoping that we can pull it off in that amount of time. I know it's not this year like we wanted, but it is what it is. I'm a broke white boy, and I've been hit hard, and still trying to recover, man. So it's just the way that it is. If I can have some kind of meetup later this summer, somehow, some way, I'll let you know. It won't be a conference, but it may just be a meetup. Maybe at a mountain, on a beach, someone's place, someone's property, I don't know. Wherever it ends up being, that's what it'll be. And it'll just be a chance for some people to meet up one night, hang out. It's about the best I could do. I wish I could do more. If I had more means, I'd definitely do more. I'd do big things if I could. I'd do big shows all over the place for us. I definitely would. And I'd bring us together bigger than ever. It's all about meeting good people, man. That's what I love the most about it all. Meeting the good people. So much love. God bless. Stay up. Stay helping others. Karma's real. Remember, someone upstairs is watching. Much love. Live one.